And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here to Sunday River, Maine at the bottom of the T2 Monday Morning Trail as we get ready for the 2010 USCSA National Championships in women's slalom. Hi, everybody. Boss Hogg alongside Chris Aliano, bringing you the live action here from the Barker Mountain Base Lodge and our broadcast booth here at the bottom of the Monday Morning Trail. Two huge runs of slalom action for the ladies coming up. We will run the first run now, take a small break in between, have a lunch time for a course shift and a new slip, and be back with the final second round coming up at 1 o'clock this afternoon. The men's action finished up yesterday with the giant slalom run right here on the same T2 Monday Morning Trail. And, of course, a beautiful night to reset and groom. And now the ladies back at the action here for this slalom event. Now, if we could ask all of the folks here at Sunday River to please stand and remove your hats, we will now play the national anthem. And it looks like we are now getting ready as the forerunners start their descent down. We'll look at 3 or 4 different forerunners as they'll check out the course here at Sunday River as we prepare for the start of the first run of the ladies' slalom event. Our first 10 racers coming up, we'll see Krista Consiglio, Kine Cagnes, Alyssa Dean, Emily Shaletto, Hannah Germstead, Kendall Brown, Jeanette Seski, Julia Piper, Megan Cleason, and Brittany Barber. And joining me here in the broadcast booth, it's Chris Aliano. Chris, looks like we've got some great action coming up here from Barker Mountain this morning.
Well, boss, if you thought you got a lot with that giant slalom event, boy, I hope you're ready for today. You know, in the middle of the night last night, my colleague Nick Holden, he was crying in our room. I turned to him, Nick, what's the matter? He says, Chris, I just wish I could be there for this women's slalom event today because it's just going to be so action-packed. It's going to be a great time, boss, and these conditions are just ideal for this slalom event today.
Indeed, the course crews here at Sunday River, Maine working furiously to pack down almost 5 feet of snow that we've experienced here in the western Maine mountains over the last week, and they have done one heck of a job as we are ready to go here and getting underway as the forerunners continue to come down. Beautiful bluebird day here at Sunday River. Not a cloud in the sky, warm temperatures. Looks like we'll be reaching temperatures up to almost 40 degrees today, and just a glorious morning for some ski racing. I'd like to welcome our online audience listening to us on the World Wide Web on the USCSA Radio Network. You can visit our website at www.uscsa.com. Today's broadcast being brought to you by our friends at Reliable Racing, your one-stop shop for all that is snow sports racing and supply. Whether it's their full line of winter sports race gear, timing, or hill and event supplies, Reliable Racing has the solution for you. Reliable Racing, the official equipment supplier of the USCSA National Championships. And by Halti USA, the official clothing supplier of the USCSA. Halti USA, our passion to provide great outdoor memories. Check out the Halti USA clothing store and visit them on the web at www.haltiusa.com. So it looks like we're ready to go here. Our forerunners now through the course. The final slip comes as the course workers take out the last little bit of ruttage there, and we're ready to go. It looks like from Brown College, we'll start things off with bib number 1 this morning from Krista Consiglio.
Boss, that is Krista Consiglio from Brown. Brown really had a tremendous day in the Giant Slalom, really representing the Eastern Regional well. Third place after the Giant Slalom event. Of course, what they're going to do is they're going to take the combined place finishes of the slalom and the giant slalom. That's how you get your team score. So, for example, Brown's in third now. Let's say they come in third again today. That means they'll have a combined score of 6, and the lowest score is going to be your overall combined national champion. Those, of course, they will be crowned Saturday at the award ceremony. So exciting stuff today. Look forward to seeing how Brown can follow up their very, very impressive giant slalom result.
You know, the great part about the USCSA and the way that they score these systems, especially in the individual events, is they'll take these individual times and the individual placements, they'll put them together for the team competition, and that seems to be as hotly contested, Chris, as the individual races, as these colleges love to have bragging rights for the entire year as they make their way around their regional circuits, and they take their huge USCSA platter with them everywhere they go.
You know, ski racing as a sport, sometimes there's this image that it's all about the individual, but boy, especially at this USCSA level, where these kids are, you know, college students first, athletes second, it really is about team, and it's awesome seeing how that all comes together, how, you know, maybe as an individual you can qualify for nationals by yourself, but boy, wouldn't you want to bring your whole team with you? And it's all about, you know, how you do as a team as our first racer makes her way down the course.
Here comes Krista Consiglio from Brown University, making her way through the final 5 or 6 gates here to the bottom of this race course, and through the finish line comes Krista Consiglio with a time of 53.23. The great thing about being the first racer, Chris, is you're already in first place when you cross the line.
Always would make me feel better when I'd have time trials at the start of the year with my team. I'd go first because my last name starts with A. And, oh, look at me, I'm in first right now. But, of course, other advantages include the course is, you know, at its utmost top condition when you go down. So big advantage there for Miss Consiglio. And what a neat little course we've got going on today. I see a couple combos, but nothing too difficult. You got a hairpin at the end here before the final 8 or so gates, but nothing that these ladies can't handle.
Now coming down, Kine Cagnes from James Madison University. She's on course, and she's popping the last 5 or 6 gates here as she makes her way across the stripe. Kine Cagnes now across the finish line from James Madison University, and she's down at a 107.25. Now on course, Alyssa Dean from Plymouth State University. Emily Shaletto now at the top, dropping in for the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. And in the start shack, Hannah Germstead from the University of California at Davis. Now across the finish line comes Alyssa Dean from Plymouth State, and she finishes in a time of 56.34. As Shaletto now about halfway through this 196 vertical meter course here on Monday morning at Sunday River.
Those Plymouth State ladies had quite a showing at the giant slalom event. Martina Ryberg, of course, had a subpar first run, then she catapulted herself all the way up to third place after her second run. Those Plymouth State ladies sure know how to ski. Alyssa Dean, a senior from Casper, Wyoming, majoring in physical education.
And now letting it all hang out is Emily Shaletto from UMass Amherst. She has definitely got some speed going through here to the bottom of the course, and across the stripe comes Shaletto, and Shaletto now in with a time of 104.35. So Emily Shaletto from UMass Amherst successfully completing the first run. You know, Chris, it's important here in the first run, more so than to have the fastest time, to actually get through the course, because without completing the first run, it automatically disqualifies your efforts in the second run.
Oh, there's nothing. You want nothing more than to qualify for that second run. You know, DNFing in that first run is just a heartbreaker, and, you know, it derails your team score early on, throws you off, you know, throws your whole team scoring off. So nothing more important than at least finishing for that first run.
Now Hannah Jimstead from the University of California at Davis. She's across the finish line at a 103.72, wearing bib number 5. A big field here for the ladies this morning for this 2010 USCSA National Women's Slalom event. 115 different competitors will come down here in this first run. Of course, they will take the 2 times from 2 runs. They'll combine those together, and that's how we'll crown our national champion here later on this afternoon. Now currently on course from Westminster College, it's Kendall Brown wearing bib number 6. As Kendall makes her way through the mid portion of this course, it looks like 2 steep areas, Chris Eliano, as we look up here from the broadcast booth at the bottom of Barker Mountain. They come right out of the gate into a very steep section. Then in the middle section of the course, it looks like it flattens out. Then another short drop, maybe 7 or 8 gates. Then do another flat section of 3 or 4 gates, and then the final section here, steep all the way down to the bottom. So some definite terrain changes for these ladies should be a challenge for all the racers.
Absolutely, boss. Right at the top of that first pitch, pretty turny. Then all of a sudden, you get to the bottom, you'll see a little bit more technical of an area on the course, really testing these ladies, technical ability. The difference between giant slalom and slalom, GS more about speed. Slalom, not only do you have to be prepared physically, but you have to be prepared mentally because it's so easy to DSQ on, such a tough slalom course.
Westminster College's Kendall Brown now across the finish line with the best time of the day so far. Good speed from Brown as she crosses the stripe in 50.63, and that currently puts Kendall Brown from Westminster College in the first slot. She's followed by Krista Consiglio from Brown and Alyssa Dean from Plymouth State in the third position. Now coming across the finish line is Jeanette Seski from St. Olaf College. And a good run here for Jeanette Seski as well, a 54.96, good enough for third position, but still very early here in this huge field of ladies in the first run of the women's slalom event. Now on course from Lehigh University, it's Julia Piper, and now just dropping in from the start shack from Clarkson University, wearing bib number 9 is Megan Cleason. Brittany Barber from Northern Michigan University is in the start house waiting to come down. So Julia Piper now here into the last 10 sticks as she tried to make her way to the finish line, and she does. Across the stripe comes Julia Piper from Lehigh University, and she comes down in a time of 106.20. Remember, we'll take the 2 times from both runs, combine them together. That's who will determine our national champion here today. So very important to just complete the first run to give yourself an opportunity. Of course, we'll take the fastest 30 times here from the first run. We'll flip that order, reverse it, and that'll be the first 30 riders and skiers in the second round. Now across the finish line, it is Megan Cleason from Clarkson University, and she finishes her run in a 57.36.
Nice showing there by Miss Cleason. She's a junior from Clarkson, from Canandaigua, New York. Civil and environmental engineer. She likes wakeboarding and anything you can do outside. Well, skiing would be one of them, boss. Of course, I wish I could do it well. Very nice showing by these ladies so far.
Now from Northern Michigan University, here in the bottom fourth of the course is Brittany Barber. Now Barber pushing all the way to the finish line. And Brittany Barber across the stripe into the finish corral here with a time of 56.56. That's good enough for fifth position. Laura Mann now from the College of Idaho. She is currently on course as she gets through the first intermediate split at 22.07. That's good enough for fourth. So Laura Mann carrying some good speed here.
I think she's hiking.
It looks
now,
like
boss,
she's missed a gate about halfway down. Unfortunate for Mann, but she is hiking. Can she get up there in time? Because, of course, Kristen Leggett now from Castleton College right behind her, and it looks like she's just going to go ahead and ski out and let Leggett come through. And Leggett is moving like a tremendous machine. Great sway back and forth, keeping her body completely still. This is a good run from Leggett. We can tell from down here as Kristen Leggett fast enough for second place at the first intermediate split. Here comes Kristen Leggett from Castleton College. She's carrying good speed here through the bottom of the course. Can she maintain through the last 5 sticks? Kristen Leggett puts her head down across the stripe and into the finish corral comes Kristen Leggett. And Kristen Leggett, 51.53, moves her into second place, just about 0.8 of a second off of the leader, Kendall Brown, coming down in 50.63. So a tremendous run from Kristen Leggett at Castleton College. She had to deal with Laura Mann, who had come off course, was trying to hike back up, and they got her out of the way just in time for Leggett to make the pass. And Leggett kept things going, stayed focused, and comes across the stripe in second place. Meanwhile, here's Danielle Shannon from Colby Sawyer College. Now she makes her way across the stripe into the corral, and a huge run from Danielle Shannon. 51.45, that's good enough for second place, moving Leggett into the third spot. So it's Kendall Brown, Danielle Shannon, and Kristen Leggett. And Chris, these ladies are tearing this course up here on an early Friday morning from a beautiful bluebird sky morning at Sunday River, Maine.
Oh, and a beautiful Friday morning on this Monday morning trail. Remember, Leggett was your GS champion on Wednesday. She really knows how to keep it consistent. Again, it's all about skiing consistently well. She had a really good time both runs on Wednesday, while others in the top 5 had a good first run, but not a great second run. That's why Leggett wound up winning the championship. Keep an eye on her, and of course, Danielle Shannon. Those Chargers of Colby Sawyer, always competitive at these national championships.
Stanford University's Melissa Canny. Now she's crossed the finish line. We're in bib number 14. Her time, 56.55, good enough for 7th place. Currently on course from Sierra Nevada College, it's Hedvig Spangs. Hedvig Spangs with a 21.29 in the intermediate split, good enough for 4th place. She'll have to pick up some time here if she wants to move into the top spot. She's skiing well here at the bottom as Spangs now crosses the finish line, and she stays in that 4th position with a time of 52.91. You know, Chris, just anything close to the leaders here is good enough for the second round because anything can happen at any moment, especially on this tightly wound course they've set here at Sunday River for the women's slalom.
That's all about slalom. That's what slalom's all about, boss. You never know, what it'll be in the second run. This course could change so dramatically. You'll see some changes on a giant slalom course, but boy, slalom can just change completely in the second run. It's all about getting into that afternoon run and seeing where you could go from there if you're in a top 5 spot.
Now Nicole Salzman from Syracuse University makes her way across the finish stripe in 56.88. And from Penn State University, wearing bib number 17, Alexa Owen now on course. And she's making her way down through the bottom third of this slalom. Your current standings from Westminster College, Kendall Brown. She's thrown down the fastest run so far at a 50.63, followed by Danielle Shannon from Colby Sawyer College with a 51.45, and Kristen Leggett in the third slot from Castleton College and a 51.53. Meanwhile, here comes Alexa Owen across the finish stripe from Penn State University in a time of 58.72. And now on course from Boston College, it's Perry Finzan. From the University of Wisconsin in Madison now, dropping in from the top start shack is Janelle Schofield. And Lexi Dreschel from Whitman College awaits her first run at the start shack.
It's all about taking that speed from the top of that first pitch and carrying it through the flats there. You got to maintain it through the technical section of the course, boss. That's how you're getting your fastest runs.
And a great finish here from Perry Finzan from Boston College. She really made the most out of the bottom fourth of this slalom course with a time of 52.86. That's going to be good enough for the 4th position. A great run from Perry Finzan. Now Janelle Schofield on course from Wisconsin-Madison. Wearing bib number 19, here comes Schofield. You have to be carrying the speed off of that head wall as the pitch of this run changes dramatically from steep to flat, then steep to flat again. And if you don't have the proper speed coming off of that steep portion, it is a slow ride through the flats in these gates and not a lot of room to make up time. As Janelle Schofield from the University of Wisconsin at Madison, she crosses the finish line in a 1.00.42. Now Lexi Dreschel. Lexi Dreschel from Whitman College wearing bib number 20. An intermediate time of 23.18 in 15th place. She'll have to pick up some speed here in the bottom as Isa Floden from Rocky Mountain College is now on course wearing bib number 21. Boss Hogg and Chris Eliano bringing you all the coverage here on the USCSA Radio Network. We'd like to thank you for joining us this morning. Welcome all of the spectators here at a beautiful Sunday River Resort in western Maine on a gorgeous Friday morning. We couldn't have asked for a better day as it is bluebird skies and warm temperatures, just perfect here for spectating fantastic women's collegiate skiing, all part of the 2010 USCSA National Championships. Across the finish line from Whitman College comes Lexi Dreschel wearing bib number 20, and her time is a 58.36, good enough for 13th. Now crossing the stripe from Rocky Mountain College, Isa Floden with a time of 53.66, so a good run from Floden. That's good enough for 7th place for Isa Floden. Meredith Pyle now on course from Rochester wearing bib number 22. In the intermediate split at 22.19, that's good enough for 11th place. Will she be able to make up even more time in the bottom of the course as Meredith Pike now from Rochester into the final 7 or 8 gates of this course. Challenging, and she's pushing all the way through. hits the stripe with her pull, and now across into the corral is Meredith Pike. And a good run for Pike from Rochester with a time of 56.32. Good enough for 9th position so far. So your top 5 now. Kendall Brown in the first spot from Westminster. Danielle Shannon from Colby Sawyer in second. Kristen Leggett from Castleton in third place. Boston College's Perry Finson in the 4th slot. And rounding out your top 5 from Sierra Nevada College, it's Hedvid Spangs. Now on course for the University of Minnesota Duluth. Here is Amanda Peterson wearing bib number 23. She's through the halfway slot into the lower third here. And it looks like Amanda Peterson from University of Minnesota Duluth trying to hold her speed through the final 2 gates and across the finish line. She stands up, but successfully into the corral is Amanda Peterson from Minnesota Duluth with a time of 1:12.41.
Looks like Amanda might have gotten caught up a little there right after the first pitch. Didn't take enough speed in. But, hey, nice showing there. These Minnesota Duluth girls, Minnesota Duluth team having a nice showing here at the Nationals. Of course, that school having a great year in the hockey department. Minnesota Duluth going to be a force in the NCAA hockey championships. But, hey, it's all about skiing right now. And certainly a nice showing from those Bulldogs of Minnesota Duluth.
Now Julia Mason comes across the stripe from Lehigh University in a time of 1:03.09. Good enough for 18th position. On course from the University of California at Santa Barbara, it's Haley Els. Els wearing bib number 25, a 29.9 in the intermediate split, so obviously a little difficulty up at the top of the course. Can she make it up here as Haley Els makes her way down from California, Santa Barbara? Great to see the West Coast schools represented here in this 2010 USCSA National Championship. Now on course from Smith College, Emma Peck-Coffin along with Emma Beatty. Now across the stripe is Haley Els with a time of 1:17.11. And Emma Peck-Coffin from Smith College right behind her. She crosses the stripe as well. And Emma Peck-Coffin with a great time of 53.53. That's going to be good enough for the 7th slot for Emma Peck-Coffin from Carabasset Valley Academy and Smith College.
Emma Coffin, a very good showing in the Giant Slalom event and a force at those Eastern Regionals. You know, you talk about East versus West, boss. In the Giant Slalom ladies event, boy, first and third spot, you know, 2 podium spots represented by the Eastern Regional. But yesterday, boy, in the guys Giant Slalom, it was all West.
Yes, indeed it was. We made that comment, of course, when I was broadcasting yesterday with Nick Holden. We commented as to whether or not there was an advantage for the East Coast skiers on the East Coast, where conditions typically a little more firm, a little more icy, a little more challenging. And then in the West Coast, when you get out there, things different. And is there an advantage? And, of course, that whole theory blown up last night as we watched the West Coast just dominate the men's Giant Slalom.
They really did, boss. Guess they were listening to us. But Molly McLeod dropping in the course now. She, of course, a fan favorite out of Colby Sawyer. Very strong representative of the Chargers. Looks like Molly may be hiking at the top, though, so hopefully she'll be able to recover.
Laura Martini now from Boston College coming across the finish line in 54.84, good enough for 10th place, wearing bib number 28. But before her, Emma Beatty from the University of British Columbia. She laid down a fantastic first run of 53.50. She's wearing bib number 27, Emma Beatty, and that was good enough for 7th place at 53.5. So to run down your leaders here so far in the first round, from Sunday River, Maine, Kendall Brown from Westminster College in the lead. Danielle Shannon in second, Kristen Leggett in third. As Molly McLeod from Colby Sawyer College making her way through the final 5 gates here of this Monday morning slalom run. And across the stripe comes Molly McLeod in a time of 1:04.53.
Strong finish for Molly, not the start that she wanted, but she's in the second run. That's all she wanted to do. So very strong showing by Molly McLeod. Her brother Tavish is here. Shout out to them. He is one of my roommates, boss, and that is just a great family representing Franconia, New Hampshire. Just fantastic people up there, boss.
Now on course from Syracuse University, here comes Julia White. Now White into the bottom third, trying to maintain her speed as she gets into the flat section here. Lots of elevation changes here on this Monday morning run. We want you to be clear that the name of the ski run is Monday morning. We've not been We've not been out too late here as part of our enjoyment of the 2010 USCSA Nationals.
I've kind of lost my sense of time this week.
And across the line is Julia White from Syracuse University with a time of 106.89. From Sierra Nevada College, wearing bib 31, it's Joanna Gillison now. Joanna Gillison making her way across the finish line into the finish corral. And a great run from Joanna Gillison. Amazing. And she really picked up speed in the bottom half of the course, and she comes in with a 52.06, and that is good enough for fourth place. Really puts her right in the thick of things. So a tremendous first run from Sierra Nevada College's Joanna Gillison, and we'll see how that works along with her second time. She is definitely in the running here for a national championship.
Absolutely, boss. That just means she skied that technical portion of the course so well, and that, indicative of her time right there. So if you could get through that middle part carrying enough speed and technically sound, you're going to see some good results.
Now Brianna Colberg from Castleton, wearing bib number 32, and she crosses the stripe at 59.85. Meanwhile, Stanford's Adrian Wallace on course, and from the College of Idaho, Kelly Fitzpatrick now dropping in from the start gate.
I had a special notification that it is Andrea Wallace's birthday, so special shout out to her. Happy birthday, Andrea. And it looks like she's having a strong first run here, so happy birthday, Andrea.
Now across the finish line comes Andrea Wallace from Stanford, wearing bib number 19, finishing in 57.42. And that's good enough for 19th position. Kelly Fitzpatrick now still on course from the College of Idaho. Looks like she's carrying some good speed here through the bottom third of the course. About 10 gate sets to go before she'll hit the finish line, trying to keep her upper body still and letting the legs swing back and forth. And now across is Kelly Fitzpatrick, bib number 20. And for the College of Idaho, she posts a time of 57.95. Emily Barrett now on course for Lehigh University. She'll be followed by Martina Ryberg from Plymouth State, and from Westminster College, currently in the start jackets, Maria Camilla Fraschini.
Well, we couldn't harp about Martina Ryberg enough the other day when she had a very average first run of the Giant Slalom and then just completely pulled the rug out from underneath the top skiers. Wound up coming in third. She's a freshman. She's from Stockholm, Sweden. She's from Plymouth State, such a strong program. So, expect a lot of big things from Martina today. Another strong finish there, and expect a very good career from her. Excuse me, that was Emily Burrett. Martina, of course, yet to finish.
Emily Burrett across the finish line in bib number 32 from Lehigh University in a 108.69. But here comes Ryberg. Ryberg really stretching it out here in the final sections. Across the stripe she comes, and a good enough for fourth position with a 52.06. So Ryberg from Plymouth State throws down a fantastic first run here, as we are now about a third of the way through our racers for this first run. A big, huge field of ladies here for the Women's Slalom National Championship. Glad you've joined us at USCSA Radio Network. We'll be broadcasting today the second run beginning at about 1 o'clock. Now across the finish line from Westminster College, another fantastic run from Maria Camilla Fraschini, and she crosses the stripe in 51.77, and that's good enough for fourth place, as things now really heating up here and lots of positions changing rapidly. Let's run down your top five. Kendall Brown still in the top slot with an amazing 50.63, followed by Danielle Shannon from Colby Sawyer. Kristen Leggett from Castleton in third, but Maria Camilla Fraschini slides into the fourth spot from Westminster, and Joanna Gillison from Sierra Nevada College rounding out the top five. Now Tori Anderson from Whitman College makes her way across the finish line in a 102.10. Mimi Palavara from Rocky Mountain College, currently on course. And from St. Olaf in the start shack, it's Kayla Johnson. So furious action here this Friday morning. A gorgeous Friday morning it is. We welcome all of you here that are spectating live at Sunday River. You couldn't have asked for a better day for a ski race. Temperatures in the mid-40s and just sunny, not a cloud in the sky. And now coming across the finish line from Rocky Mountain College, it is Mimi Palavara. And she posts a time of 59.74, good enough for 25th position. Kayla Johnson now on course from St. Olaf, coming through the first intermediate split in 17th position. Can she pick up places here in the bottom half of the run? She is skiing well, keeping that upper body completely still, trying to point down the mountain in a straight line while the legs do all the work, back and forth. And she's got to carry the speed through this lower section. It looks like she has. She is really pushing hard and now pulls through the finish line across the stripe into the corral. Comes Kayla Johnson from St. Olaf College, and a good run for Johnson in a 56.30, putting her in 15th position. And you know, Chris, it's really important if you can get in that top 30, because that's the flip that we will utilize for the setup of the second run. They will take those top 30 times. They'll reverse them, starting out with the first runner as number 30. So, you know, if you're in that top 30, that means you're going to be staring at the best course conditions you'll see all day on the second run.
So important to make that flip, boss. Of course, you see the best conditions. In fact, I wouldn't mind being the first 15 of girls in that flip. You know, you may be the 30th through 16th position, but boy, you see the best conditions and you can be the most aggressive, and that's when you see girls making the biggest jumps in that second run. You saw it the other day in giant slalom, and you'll probably see it again today. Very impressive effort by Kayla Johnson. She's skiing on a torn knee, so hey, my hat's off to her. If you can ski hurt, then hey, there you go. Northern
Michigan University's Jessica Frankowski now across the line in a 102.18, wearing bib number 30. Check that, wearing bib number 41. And on course from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, it's Emily Duncanson. Now Duncanson through the final three gates here, and across the stripe comes Duncanson in a 102.12, wearing bib 42. Currently on course, Heidi Skinner from UMass Amherst and Kia Mosenthal from Brown University. Penn State's Alexandra Klebe in the start shack waiting to come down. But here comes Skinner. Skinner pushing hard here through the final 8 gates. And she pulls her way through under the finish line. And here is Heidi Skinner. And again, a great run from the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. Heidi Skinner crossing the stripe in a 56.19. Good enough for the 15th slot. So, of course, these coveted top 30 positions, very, very important as the ladies try to work their way into those positions. And a great run from Heidi Skinner. Good enough for 15.
UMass Amherst, another strong team out of that McConnell division of the Eastern Regional. She's a senior from Weston, Vermont. She enjoys sailing, soccer, and American Idol Wii. She claims in one of her ski accomplishments that she is one of the people responsible for resurrecting the UMass Alpine Ski Team as a club. So that is always good to see. You know, skiing such a expensive sport. You don't see a lot of schools, you know, with varsity programs anymore just because it is so expensive. So it's so important for these club teams to maintain, you know, their status, you know, their representation and their presence at these USCSA National Championships, especially as it becomes more and more difficult to field and maintain teams.
Now Kia Mosenthal, she's crossed the finish line from Brown University, and she throws down a huge time, 53.06. Good enough for 9th place. So Kia Mosenthal skiing for Brown. She definitely delivers here on her first run from the Monday morning trail, sliding her into the 9th slot. Now across the finish line from Penn State University, it's Alexandra Klebe. Klebe finishes in a 102.79, wearing bib number 45. Now coming through the finish line as it is furious action here on the course, Clarkson's Jill Clevenger. Now Clevenger underneath the banner here into the finish corral, and Clevenger with a 57.90, good enough for 25th place. Currently on course from James Madison University, it's Kendall Burton. And now dropping in from the University of California at Davis, it is Sabrina Bedell. Brown's Elizabeth Hanberry awaits in the start shack to drop in for her first run. So let's go down your top 5 from Westminster College. It's Kendall Brown in the first position. She's followed by Colby Sawyer's Danielle Shannon. Castleton College's Kristen Leggett in the third position. Westminster College's Maria Camelia Franchini in the 4th spot. And rounding out your top 5 from Sierra Nevada College, it is Joanna Gillison in 5th as we watch Kendall Burton from James Madison University. She comes across the line in 111.99. And that's good enough for 44th position. Sabrina Bedell from the University of California at Davis now on course, making her way through. And Elizabeth Hanberry from Brown University, she has dropped in out of the start shack as Caitlin Pollock from Plymouth State University awaits her first run here. Now Caitlin Pollock has dropped in, so 3 ladies on at once. And crossing the finish line now from the University of California, Davis, Sabrina Bedell wearing bib 48 in a 112.30. Elizabeth Hanberry now from Brown, 24.2 in the intermediate split, good enough for 36. Can she make up enough time to slide into the top 30? And she is skiing furiously here on the bottom part of the course. As Elizabeth Hanberry from Brown University crosses the final finish stripe and into the corral is Hanberry, and she did. She was able to make up incredible time in the bottom. It looked like it, Chris, with a 58.36, and currently good enough for 27th place. So she's close to that 30-spot bubble, but a great recovery as Hanberry came down the hill and really turned it on in the final 15 or 20 gates of this slalom course.
Yeah, that intermediate split is right after that first pitch, so if you speed check up there, it's going to seem as if you had a really poor run, but boy, if you can make it up for it in that technical part of the course at the flush and at that last hairpin before the finish, you can really make up a lot of time.
Caitlin Pollock from Plymouth State University now across the stripe in 56.58, good enough for 22nd place. Meanwhile, Westminster College's Perrin Voisin on course now, and she's got some good speed here coming through the final 10 gates. Here comes Voisin. You can tell she's pushing hard, and under the banner she comes into the finish corral. Perrin Voisin in a great run from Westminster's Perrin Voisin with a 54.11, good enough for 14th position. So all over the pack, these lady skiers are making a difference. And you don't know what you're going to get. It looks like the course, of course, is holding up. They are trying to slip it in between the runners, but for the most part, it looks like that not too many ruts have developed so far, Chris.
You'll see a lot of shifting in these standings as the course progresses, as the run progresses. Of course, slalom just so much different from GS in terms of what it demands physically. It really is just one. It's entirely different from giant slalom. Of course, you talk about speed events like Super G and downhill in the Olympics. You'll hardly ever see someone as proficient in the speed events as you'll see someone proficient in slalom events. It's just two completely different things. So expect to see a lot of flip-flopping in the standings as this day progresses, boss.
Now let's go over Wendy Kalkas across the finish line from Stanford University in a 108.01 wearing bib 52. Anna Hosmer from Colby Sawyer College crossing the stripe in 55.33. A good run from Hosmer, good enough for 17th place. As the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, Amy Gifford wearing bib 54 now makes her way through the final 3 gates and across the stripe. And a great run from Amy Gifford in 56.06, good enough for the 18th position for UMass Amherst.
Amy Gifford, a junior out of Redfield, Maine, home mountain of Sugarloaf. She's a pre-vet major. She enjoys water skiing, soccer, tennis, and sailing.
Erica Riley now on course from Boston College. And a good intermediate split for Riley. She's out in 21.89. Good enough for 17th place. Can she make it even better here in the bottom part of the course? As Riley from Boston College crosses the stripe in 55.83. That'll put her into 18th position, still in that top 30. Very, very important for these ladies to try to make that top 30 positioning so they'll be able to make the flip here in the second round. Meanwhile, Castleton's College, Christina Sundin wearing bib 52nd. Check that, 56 on course. And Penn State University's Katrina Cassell now dropping in out of the start shack. We'll see Alexandra Gurris from Rocky Mountain College. She had a great performance 2 days ago in the giant slalom. And now she is on course. Castleton College's Christina Sundin now across the finish line in a 101.88. Meanwhile, Penn State's Christina Cassell makes her way into the bottom third of this course.
Christina, a member of that dominant Castleton team that really has had its way in the Thompson division of the Eastern Regional. She was a part of the All ECSC Thompson division team this year, and they really have just a bunch of young, great skiers, and they could be a force years from now as well.
And across the line comes Katrina Cassell from Penn State University in a time of 105.82. Meanwhile, Alexandra Gurris from Rocky Mountain College, she's on course. Seemed to have a tough time at the top with a 23.89, only good enough for 40th position. Let's see if she can make it up here at the bottom as she comes across the stripe. And good enough for 35th place in a 59.01. From Rocky Mountain College comes Alexandra Gurris. Stein Lund from Sierra Nevada College. Now she's on course. And she is tearing the top up, 21.53, good enough for 14th. She'll want to try to improve upon that as she makes her way through the center sections. Really tight gating there into the flat section. Here comes Stein Lund. She's swinging back and forth. A good upper body, no movement. Pointing downhill, letting the skis do the work. Does she have enough speed? Stein Lund from Sierra Nevada College crosses the stripe in time of 106.31. So it looks like Lund might have struggled a little bit in the bottom section of the course, but she's made it through. She'll get a second chance to go up and let it all hang out on the second run this afternoon. Meanwhile, from James Madison University wearing bib 60, Laura Turek now on course. And she'll be followed by Blake Meyer from the University of Wisconsin at Madison. In the start shack now, Whitman College's Polly Evans. So we're about halfway through our racers here for run number one on a beautiful Friday morning from Sunday River, Maine in the western mountains of Maine. And we could have not called for a better morning as it is bluebird skies, warm temperatures, and an absolute perfect day for spectating the finest in collegiate skiing here at the USCSA National Championships. Boss Hogg and Chris Aliano bringing it to you from the USCSA Radio Network. Hope you're enjoying our broadcast, and tune in this afternoon as we will bring you the second run of this exciting ladies slalom event.
Can't say enough about these perfect conditions, boss. Yesterday you had some overcast skies creating some flat light. Made it tough for skiers with tinted goggles to see those ruts in the course. Hardly can believe that there's ruts on this court right now. But really just ideal conditions in terms of just beautiful blue skies. You can really see everything out there.
Indeed. Catch you up on some times. Laura Turek from James Madison University. She crossed the stripe in 114.50 wearing bib number 60. From the University of Wisconsin in Madison wearing bib number 61, it was Blake Meyer in a 106.32. And now crossing the stripe from Whitman College wearing bib 62 is Polly Evans with a time of 58.43, good enough for 34th position. Northern Michigan University's Cooper Dindal now on course, followed by Corey Tolkien from Lehigh University, as Syracuse University's Kristen Anderson awaits her drop-in for her first run from the top of this Monday morning run here at Sunday River. Now Cooper Dindal. Dindal now from Northern Michigan University across the stripe in 103.18. And Corey Tolkien from Lehigh on course along with Kristen Anderson. Well, we can't talk enough about how important it is just to finish the first run here. So frustrating to be entered into an event and then really go all out for it. And it really talks about some of the strategy that these ski racers need to use, Chris. I mean, just when you really want to have the most exceptional first run, you have to be careful not to go too big, because if you go too big and something happens, it can literally take you out of the rest of the day.
Boss, you've said plenty of times during these national championships, these ladies and men love to let it all hang out, but you got to make sure you finish that first run, boss. I can proudly boast that I have never DNF'd in my career. Of course, I've never finished quite well in any race in my career, but I can at least say that I've at least never DNF'd and can ski that second run. Makes you feel great knowing that you'll be out there in the afternoon.
Corey Tolkien from Lehigh across the stripe in 117.79, quickly followed up by Syracuse University's Kristen Anderson, wearing bib number 65. She finishes in 100.29. And Sophie LeBlanc from Clarkson University in bib 66, the Carabasset Valley Academy student, and it looks like she went just a bit too hard here in the last 10 or 12 gates. She was having a tremendous run, Sophie LeBlanc, but it looks like she has skied out here right in front of us as she was unable to make the finish line. So a tough break for Sophie LeBlanc wearing bib number 66. She had a great run going, and unfortunately she will not be back for the second round of this women's slalom.
Unfortunate, but hey, make sure you keep your head up high. Sophie Clarkson having a great year as a team. Reading one of these bios saying that one of the Clarkson girls said Clarkson ladies team has won every event they've been in this year. I have to double check with that, but hey, that's a lot better than some other teams at across the USCSA level. So nothing to be ashamed of, Sophie.
Syracuse University's Kristen Anderson wearing bib number 65. She's across the stripe in 100.29, good enough for 40th position. Alexandra Anderson from St. Olaf in bib 67. She has a great run of 59.51, good enough for 37th slot. Katie O'Neill now is on course, but it looks like O'Neill has had a problem and has missed a gate, and so she has skied out. Tough break for Katie O'Neill. From the College of Idaho now, wearing bib 69, Katie Kernan on course. And now Emma Abramson from Sierra Nevada College has dropped in from the start shack. She'll be followed by UMass Amherst, Allison Hubbard. And now let's run down still your top five. From Westminster College in the lead, Kendall Brown with an amazing 50.63 in her first run. She's followed by Colby Sawyer's Danielle Shannon with a 51.45, so just about 0.8 of a second behind Brown is Shannon. And in the third position, it is Castleton College's Kristen Leggett with a 51.53, just about 0.1 of a second behind Shannon. So all tight together are the top three leaders here in this women's slalom event this Friday morning from Sunday River. Now across the finish line from the College of Idaho, wearing a bib 69, 101.87 for Katie Kernan. And she's followed across the stripe from Sierra Nevada College's Emma Abramson, wearing bib 71. And Abramson throws down a great first run. 56.21 is good enough for 21st position. So Emma Abramson from Sierra Nevada College, looks like if she can hold on to that slot, she will be part of that top 30 flip when we come back for the final round here this afternoon on the Monday Morning Trail.
Boss, you can never make the assumption that just because a skier is going so late in the run order that they can't place in that top 30 flip. I mean, let's be honest, some of these teams that are representing their regions here are just so deep, and that their third, fourth, fifth best skier are still probably the top 20, top 30 overall skiers. So never make that assumption.
Now working hard in the bottom course, Allison Hubbard from University of Massachusetts in Amherst. She made up some great time in the second half of the run, 58.42 for Allison Hubbard from UMass Amherst. That puts her in the 35th position. Meanwhile, from Plymouth State, Alexandra Albrecht on course, wearing bib 73. She was 41st at the intermediate split. Can she make up time here in the bottom? Alexandra Albrecht, a very tall skier from Carabasset Valley Academy in high school, now on to Plymouth State University. And Albrecht trying to carry the speed through the bottom of the course. She's got great form. She is working hard, pushing toward the finish line. Here comes Albrecht. Albrecht across the stripe. And she comes in at a 58.64 for Alexandra Albrecht. Good enough for 37th spot. Kelly Tingle and Gianna Aveni now on course, and it's great to see Gianna Aveni's name from the University of California at Davis here on our scoreboard, as Aveni took a nasty spill in the giant slalom and I wasn't sure we were going to see her again here at this national championship, and obviously through some great therapy over the last 48 hours, Aveni has been able to reconstruct that knee, probably with a whole bunch of duct tape, and she's going to come down here for a slalom run, so it's great to see Aveni back on course. Now crossing the finish line from Colby Sawyer, it's Kelly Tingle, and a good run for Tingle in 58.36, good enough for 33rd spot. And wearing bib 75, it is Gianna Aveni. And Aveni It's a great recovery just to see her back out here on this ski hill today after a nasty fall in the giant slalom 2 days ago. And Vinny is going to cross the finish line here from the University of California at Davis. And the time 1:10.09. But just to see Vinny back out on the course is really great. And she's got some, you can see some structural support there on her knee. But it is just tremendous to see the heart of that kid to be able to come back after a nasty fall in the GS and still competing here in the slalom. And she'll get a second run as well, Chris.
I'm just looking at her bio right now, boss, and I'm not surprised at all. She's only a freshman, so you've got that youth, that determinism, that she's so determined. And she lists her hobbies as shredding the gnar, getting bloody noses, and being awesome. I could definitely attest to that, Miss Aveni, after seeing your work today. Nicely done. Great to have you back on this race course.
She ain't scared, that's for sure. Lori Tashler now from St. Olaf University across the stripe in 58.46, wearing bib 76. Currently on course from Stanford University, it's Olivia Jacobson. She'll be followed by Mary Gocha from Northern Michigan University. And in the start shack, it's Caitlin Lahr from the University of Wisconsin at Madison. Meanwhile, at Stanford University's Olivia Jacobson. Here comes Jacobson in the last part of the course, and across the stripe into the corral comes Jacobson in a time of 1:18.35. So Mary Gocha and Caitlin Lahr now on course as the sun shines down here on a beautiful Friday morning. Couldn't have asked for better conditions here. Most importantly, just the course itself in absolutely tremendous shape. We really want to take a second to thank the guys who have made this happen. It is Bear and Jake Treadwell and the entire Sunday River crew here have worked exceptionally hard and have thrown down an absolutely tremendous race course for these ladies during this slalom event. You know, Chris, it's tough when you get a lot of snow all at once to be able to move it all around and keep it together. And it happened literally 24 hours before this 2010 USCSA Nationals was about to begin. And working furiously, I literally think they had crews out here all night long for 48 consecutive hours, using all of the resources here of Sunday River to put these courses together. And this morning's course, obviously a testament, as has been all of the Alpine courses here, to the work that Bear and Jake and the crew here at Sunday River has put together. So we really want to give them a great congratulations and a round of applause, because without their help and without their focus and dedication, we would not be skiing on these incredible conditions. Boss Hogg and Chris Aliano bringing you the action here from Sunday River, Maine at the Barker Base Lodge from our broadcast vantage point here. And you are listening to the first round of the 2010 USCSA National Championships Women's Slalom. Let's just quickly update you on the last three finishers. Olivia Jacobson from Stanford University across in 1:18.35, wearing bib 77. From Northern Michigan University, wearing bib 78, Mary Gocha in a 1:10.77. And now just across the line from Syracuse University, wearing bib number 80, it is Danielle Franks with a 1:17.14. Now from Clarkson University, Catherine Jandro with a time of 59.39, good enough for 42nd position for Jandro, wearing bib numbers 81. Currently on course, James Madison University's Catherine Summers, and she'll be followed by Boston College's Alexandra Bolk. But it looks like Summers now had some problems up on the course, and she has skied out and will be a DNF. So tough luck for Catherine Summers. Meanwhile, Boston College's Alexandra Bolt on course, wearing bib number 83. And let's quickly give you a rundown of the top 10. In the 10th slot from Brown University, Krista Consiglio. She's preceded in 9th spot by her teammate, Kia Mosenthal. Sierra Nevada's Hedvig Spangs in the 8th position. Perry Finzen from Boston College in the 7th slot. Martina Ryberg from Plymouth State. She is currently in 6th. Check that. She is tied for 5th, and a dead tie between Martina Ryberg and Joanna Gillison from Sierra Nevada College, both posting 52.06 times. In the fourth position from Westminster College, Maria Camelia Fraschini. Kristen Leggett in the third slot from Castleton College. And Danielle Shannon in the second position from Colby Sawyer, and currently leading the first round with a lightning fast 50.63 on the first run from Westminster College. It's Kendall Brown.
That a huge factor in Westminster's overall team lead right now in this first run. They're ahead of second place Sierra Nevada by over 4.5 seconds. If you'd like to give that team rundown now, boss, we've got Westminster in first, Sierra Nevada in second, Boston College in third, Brown in fourth, Plymouth State in fifth, Colby Sawyer in sixth, St. Olaf in seventh, UMass Amherst in eighth, Rocky Mountain College in ninth, and in 10th place, Castleton College.
And let's take a look at some times that have just come across. Catherine Gendreau from Clarkson University, bib 81 and 59.39. But Alexandra Bolt, how about this from Boston College? She throws down a good run, getting her into the top 30, wearing bib 83 of a 56.72. That's good enough for 29th place, so that'll put her in the flip. And then right after her from Westminster College, a fast run from Victoria Glasinski. And she comes down in 54.03, wearing bib 84 from Westminster. That's good enough for 14th position. So 84th start place for Victoria Glasinski. Comes out in a result of a 14th place first run with 54.03. And Chris, she's right in this thing.
Not only is she right in this thing, she boosted Westminster's lead by a little more than a couple hundredths of a second, replacing one of the top times. Tremendous effort there. Again, boss, you can't just assume that because they're so late in the race run order that they can't qualify or compete in the top 30 ladies of that standings going into the flip.
Bib number 86, Brittany Anderson, had a good run going, but was unable to make a gate about halfway through, and so she is skied out of the course. Tough luck for Brittany Anderson. Brown University's Emily Simmons, wearing bib number 85. She's crossed the finish stripe at a 59.67. And currently on course from Penn State University, it's Sarah Sefchak, wearing bib 87. She'll be followed by Amora Pickett from the College of Idaho, who is in the start shack awaiting her first run. So you're absolutely right, Chris. You don't know what can happen here later on as the course begins to deteriorate, as it always does in a slalom race. It's just so much pressure put on the snow by that many racers. But as you can see, in between the runs, the course crew doing a great job of slipping down, smoothing out those ruts, trying to give each and every racer a good opportunity to have good snow and good position to make a great run here in the first part of this two-run women's slalom event.
You can't talk enough about the coursework that they're doing right now because, boy, I remember a couple slalom runs earlier this year. I'm skiing. All of a sudden, my right foot's about 2.5 feet in the ground. My left foot's, level. It's like skiing through a trench there. It gets unbelievably beaten up, especially if you're talking in a regular race weekend where the women's go first, then the men go second, and for some reason I'm skiing at the back of the men's pack. Not sure why, boss, because, I don't know, I thought at least my timing and good looks would put me to the front of the pack, but boy, by the time the men go, it really gets beaten up. So my hat's off to the tremendous coursework that they're doing.
Penn State University, Sarah Sefchak now across the finish line with a 116.12. And it looks like we've got a hold on the course here as the course crew wants to go and smooth everything out as much as they can. Still about 40 racers to come down this beautiful Monday morning trail here at Sunday River. Boss Hogg and Chris Aliano bringing you the action on the USCSA Radio Network. I'd like to thank all our listeners on the World Wide Web listening today. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. We'll be back at 1 o'clock this afternoon for the second and final run of this Women's National Championship Slalom. And a big day of broadcast coverage tomorrow as we fire up at 9:30 in the morning for the men's first run of their slalom event right here from the Monday Morning Trail. And then we'll move next door for the giant slalom finals for the snowboarders. And what incredible action it is when you see the snowboarders get into the gates and lay it down. We're going to bring you coverage of that right around noon, and then back at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon for the final round, the second run of the men's slalom event. So lots of national championship final races tomorrow. We hope you'll join us right here at the USCSA Radio Network.
A very packed day tomorrow, boss. Now, I'm not sure if you have called a snowboarding GS event before. I know I haven't now. Is there anything different in terms of how those snowboarders approach the course?
I got to think it's the same thing. I mean, really and truly, it's except for the fact that these guys are working on one edge instead of 4 sets of edges. So it should be exciting. If you've never seen a giant slalom or any kind of alpine discipline, but they're using snowboards instead, you've got to get up here. A great day of college action here from Sunday River. We invite anyone that's within any closeness of this place to make it here tomorrow. You will not be disappointed. And what a weather forecast we have. I think it is going to be like the Virgin Islands here tomorrow. Temperatures reaching possibly 55 degrees here at the base of the mountain tomorrow, and they're calling for sunny skies. So a beautiful weekend here in the western mountains of Maine, and what a great opportunity for you to enjoy yourself on the slopes and check out some fantastic college ski racing at the same time. These kids have worked all year long, ladies and gentlemen, to get to this point. What an honor just to make the national championships, just to qualify for the event. Kids work all year long just to get here, and now that they're here, what a fantastic way for them to enjoy themselves in this week of fantastic college competition. Great weather, great conditions, and a great course provided by Sunday River. All it takes is now great spectators that will enjoy the race, and it is a full-on, complete success here from Sunday River in the 2010 USCSA Championships. Back to live action now as Heather Patterson, check that, Maura Pickett from College of Idaho wearing bib number 68. She crosses the finish line in 104.46. On course from Castleton College, it's Heather Patterson. And she's followed by Cecile Anvord from Colby Sawyer College. In the start gate now, ready to drop in, is Kelly Burgard from Boston College. And now she's on course. But first, crossing the finish stripe from Castleton, it's Heather Patterson. Her time a 103.00. And now wearing bib 91, Cecile Anvord from Colby Sawyer College. And Cecilia Anvord in a pretty good first intermediate split of 23.19, good enough for 43rd. Can she make up some speed here in the bottom? Can we have a late qualifier here for the top 30? Here comes Anvord from Colby Sawyer College. Oh, and she almost does it. She crosses the line at 57.58. That's good enough for 33rd position. I thought she might have enough speed to get through the bottom course. She did make up an amazing amount of time. And a great run for Cecile Anvord from Colby Sawyer College.
Her teammate Danielle Shannon still in second, but Colby Sawyer just a tremendous group of athletes there, really representing the Eastern region well at these national championships, boss.
Here comes Kelly Burgard from Boston College into the final 3 or 4 gates. Over the stripe into the finish corral is Burgard, successfully completing her first run. And Burgard able to get on the bubble at 56.88. That's good enough for 30th position. So Burgard late in the pack, bib 92, starting late up at the top of this mountain, and Burgard able to throw it down here with a 56.88, and that is good enough for the flip in 30th position. But Chris, she is right on the bubble. Anything can happen here as these last 30 racers come down. Oh,
Kelly Burgard's going to be crossing her fingers and listening to us and watching anxiously as these final 20 racers or so make their way down. Of course, if she stands at that 30th position, that means she will be the first racer to go to start the second run this afternoon.
Katie Martin now from Castleton College. She's on course wearing bib number 96. She is followed by Clarkson's Emma Mazur, also on course. And Ulrike Nikolaisen from Westminster College. She is in the start house awaiting her first run.
Katie Martin, just another member of that impressive Castleton squad that is really making noise at the national championships and has owned the Thompson division of the Eastern region the past 3 years. She was an all-division team in 2009 and this year. And she's a sophomore. A lot of young talent on that Castleton team, of course, including Kristen Leggett, the GS champion, and currently in third today.
Emma Mazur on course. Katie Martin across from Castleton College in a time of 103.92, wearing bib 96. Emma Mazur now from Clarkson University, wearing a bib 97. She is on course in Westminster College's Ulrike Nikolaisen, also on course. She'll be followed by Audrey Beldig from Northern Michigan University. And here comes Emma Mazur in the final 5 gates. Pushing her way across the stripe is Emma Mazur from Clarkson College, and Mazur finishes in a 112.70.
Hometown of Wayne, New Jersey, right next door to me. I'm from Hawthorne, so I'm not sure if we know each other, no acquaintances, but some fellow New Jerseyans representing the USCSA National Championships here.
Now across the stripe is Ulrike Nikolaisen from Westminster College, and a fast run from Nikolaisen from Westminster College. How about this? A 54.73 for Nikolaisen. Good enough for 16th place.
Oh, boss, where did that come from?
So the bubble now gets pushed around once again as things shift here. Just when you thought it was set, Westminster's Ulrike Nikolaisen comes through with a 54.73, a lightning fast run from way back in the field here. Audrey Belding now from Northern Michigan University. She's on course wearing bib number 99, making her way into the last 5 gates. Here comes Belding. She'll be followed by the University of California Davis's Margaret O'Neill. As Belding from Northern Michigan crosses in 109.14. On course now from the University of California Davis, Margaret O'Neill. And St. Olaf's Laura Mansell has dropped in from the start shack. Sierra Nevada's Louisa Russell Henry waiting to come. So things heating up here in the first run of 2 in the Women's National Champion Slalom event. The Monday morning trail groomed to perfection here. The gates are tough. And Margaret O'Neill from California Davis crossing the finish line in a 114.28. Laura Mansell on course from St. Olaf. Sierra Nevada's Louisa Henry, check that, Louisa Russell Henry. She has dropped in from the start shack. And at the top now, waiting to come down from UMass Amherst, it's Abby Nolan.
You talk about Westminster and their dominance of this run right now. We just saw Ulrike Nikolaisen come down in 16th place with a tremendous run out of nowhere. That wasn't even top 3 on their team, so it doesn't even affect their scoring. Westminster has the first, 4th, and 14th best runs in this event. That's why, you can credit them with that 4.75 second lead over Sierra Nevada. Just a tremendous effort by Westminster.
No doubt dominating here the ladies competition. Westminster College looking really, really good this year. As we see Louisa Russell Henry from Sierra Nevada College cross the line, and how about that, Chris Aliano? A 56.20, good enough for 23rd position. So in the 103rd starting position for Louisa Russell Henry from Sierra Nevada, she's able to throw down a 56.20, good enough for 23rd space. So now another shift here in the top 30 as they fight it out to make the top 30 so they can make the flip in the second run. Here comes Abby Nolan from UMass Amherst. Nolan crossing the stripe in 100.28, wearing bib 104. An amazing run, though, by Louisa Russell Henry from Sierra Nevada College and by Ulrike Nikolaisen from Westminster late in the pack, both of them making the top 30. As we see Catherine Stewart now from Brown University through the final 4 or 5 gates. She's pushing hard, punches the finish line, and Catherine Stewart with a time of 58.90. Good enough for a 40th position for Catherine Stewart from Brown. Meanwhile, Penn State University's Elizabeth Pasquale on course. She's followed by Syracuse University's Kelly Bracken.
We're into our final 15 racers now of this first run, boss. And all of them trying to just come down as aggressive as they can. They want a second run, but boy, they want to just get as far up in that order as they can. You know, don't think none of these girls can make the flip, because we've seen it time and time again as in the latter half of this run order in this first run.
Elizabeth Pasquale now through the intermediate. Into the final 10 gates here at the Sunday River Monday morning course. And across the line comes Elizabeth Pasquale from Penn State University in a 113.67. Meanwhile, Syracuse University's Kelly Bracken on course, wearing bib number 107. She's followed by Megan Thies from Rocky Mountain College, and now in the start gate, it's Plymouth State's Catherine Goller. Into the final 10 set comes Kelly Bracken from Syracuse University. Pushing hard, now into the tuck, and across the stripe is Kelly Bracken. And she'll post a time of 111.96. Megan Thies now wearing bib number 108 for Rocky Mountain College. She's skiing well here in the lower part of the course, keeping the upper body pointing downhill as the legs swing back and forth, and tucking to the end comes Megan Thies, and a good run for Megan Thies from Rocky Mountain College with a 101.38, good enough for 58th position. Catherine Goller now on course from Plymouth State, out in the first intermediate split in 23.7, about halfway through the pack at 56th. She'll be followed by Tracy Pulaski, wearing bib number 111 from the University of Wisconsin in Madison. Elizabeth Loftus now in the start shack for Cornell. Meanwhile, Plymouth State's Catherine Goller crossing the finish line in 59.24, good enough for 50th position. And from the University of Wisconsin at Madison, it is Tracy Pulaski, now about halfway through, making her way into the lower third.
You know, you talk about USCSA athletes and, you know, their versatility, not only as students but as athletes. Miss Goller, a member of Plymouth's soccer team as well, and I've seen, you know, just reading through some of these bios, you see a lot of these girls and men that they are part of other teams as well as ski athletes. So just a credit to them and, you know, what kind of tremendous athletes we have here at the National Championships.
Here comes Tracy Pulaski from the University of Wisconsin at Madison, punching out the last three gates. Now across the stripe into the finish corral is Tracy Pulaski, and she'll come across in a time of 1:13.11. Elizabeth Loftus from Cornell on course. Now Ann Danzig has dropped in from the United States Military Academy. She is on course, and we'll see Cornell's Heather Merkus coming up next. But now it's Loftus across the finish line from Cornell in a time of 1:02.11 for Elizabeth Loftus. And Danzig from the United States Military Academy, and oh, she almost had it. She tried to make that final gate. Will she hike up for it and try to catch it? Yes, she will. So Ann Danzig, let's see if she's going to get around this gate in time. She's got to hurry up. She's got one more gate to get around. Meanwhile, it looks like Heather Merkus is catching up. I don't know if she's going to have enough time to do it. We're going to see here, and let's see if she does. She does.
Looks like
So
Heather got
Ann Danzig now back on course again after skiing out and having to hike a gate, and she's going to finish this race, it appears.
Looks like Heather Merkus might have gotten caught up, too, about, at the bottom of the first pitch. She had to hike for just a moment, but great to see both of them finishing.
Indeed. That's how you get the second run. And Ann Danzig now across the stripe, wearing bib number 113 from the United States Military Academy in a time of 1:30.04, but just a moral victory to get through that first run, as Danzig really had to hike up an entire set of gates to make the gate she had missed. She did, and she will be entitled to take a second run. So congratulations to Danzig. That is the modicum of persistence and dedication right there, as she really wanted to finish her first run. Heather Merkus from Cornell across the stripe as well in 1:11.03. And our next rider from the United States Military Academy will be Jennifer Roque, wearing bib number 115.
I'll tell you what, boss, I've done my fair share of hiking and over the course of my ski career. It's not a fun thing to do, but boy, do you just feel so good getting to the bottom of the course, just waving a hand. You're exhausted, your legs are burning, you just want to collapse. You don't even want to go out there for the second run of the time, but at least you know you finish, and at least you'll be out there with your teammates in the afternoon. So always so important to hike, and it really is just a moral victory knowing you'll at least have a second run.
Let's quickly run down your top 10 positions here for the morning's first run. In 10th place from Brown, it's Krista Consiglio. She's followed in 9th by her teammate, Kia Mosenthal. In 8th place, it's Hedvig Spangs from Sierra Nevada College. 7th position belongs to Boston College's Perry Finzan. A tie for 5th place between Martina Ryberg from Plymouth State and Sierra Nevada's Joanna Gillison. In the 4th position, it's Maria Camelia Fraschini from Westminster College. Kristen Leggett from Castleton College in the 3rd slot. In the 2nd position from Colby Sawyer College, it's Danielle Shannon. And leading this morning after the first run so far from Westminster College in a lightning fast run of 50.63, it's Kendall Brown. Brown will be tough to beat here. It is an impressive time from Miss Brown this morning. Almost a full second ahead of the rest of the pack. But as you know, Chris Alieno, anything can happen in the second run of a women's slalom, especially in a national championship.
One late turn, one wrong move, one hooked ski. I mean, you saw it in the Olympics. You saw Bodie Miller go out the first few gates in his slalom run in last event of these Olympics, and boom, he just popped right out of his ski, or he missed the gate, and that's all it takes. Just get late on one gate, and all of a sudden you're done.
Meanwhile, Jennifer Roque from the United States Military Academy, she crosses the stripe in 118.97, and she's followed by her teammate Dana Stapleton in bib 116. She comes by in a 121.03. Now from Cornell University, it's Rebecca Smith wearing bib 117. She makes a good effort in the bottom of the course and comes across in a 102.02, good enough for a 62nd spot. Meanwhile, her teammate from Cornell, Caitlin Wolcott, on course, and she'll be followed by Rose Monroe from the United States Military Academy. Caitlin Wolcott wearing bib 118, punching the last 5 or 6 gates here on this Monday morning course. And underneath the banner, into the corral she comes. Caitlin Wolcott with a time of 111.84 from Cornell. Rose Monroe now about halfway down, moving into the bottom third of the course from the United States Military Academy. She'll be followed by Ann Pennington. And Ann Pennington, wearing bib number 121, is our final racer for the morning session here. So as usual, 121 racers down in a relatively record amount of time, as we had a clean run here from the Sunday River Barker Mountain. Always a testament to our course workers and to the course itself. And across the finish line, it comes Rose Monroe from the United States Military Academy. Our final racer from Cornell, Ann Pennington. The time for Rose Monroe, 119.11, wearing bib number 119. And our final racer, Ann Pennington, through the bottom section here of the course, punching out her final gates. Here comes Pennington. Pennington from Cornell University. And she crosses the stripe for Ann Pennington. It's a 114.84, a good run for Pennington. And that's going to conclude all of our first round racers. 120 or so of them came down. An exciting, furious action here as we saw Kendall Brown from Westminster College throw down a lightning run of 50.63. She's followed by Danielle Shannon from Colby Sawyer College with a 51.45. Kristen Leggett from Castleton College with a 51.53. Maria Camelia Fraschini from Westminster College with a 51.77, and then a tie for the 5th position between Joanna Gillison from Sierra Nevada College and Martina Ryberg from Plymouth State, both posting 52.06. So 6 racers all jammed together. It really is anyone's race here in this afternoon's second round session, where we'll come back at around 1 o'clock this afternoon, and we will crown the 2010 USCSA National Champion in the women's slalom event. Exciting action here this morning, Chris.
Very exciting. I'm very interested to see what they're going to do with this course in the afternoon. Pretty straightforward. You have your turning part at the top, very basic, just turn gates followed by turn gate, trying to build up speed at the bottom of that pitch. And you had the more technical part in that first flat. You had a flush. Then you have this hairpin in the second pitch of the course as you got towards the finish. So I'm interested to see if it's going to be more technical, if it's going to be more speed-based. Very interested. I'm sure that'll be a factor. But, boy, we've got quite a showing here this morning. Kendall Brown, very impressive effort. Of course, our team standings, Westminster, very, very impressive right now. But it's only going to get better this afternoon, boss.
As we have talked a lot about individual performances here, of course, bragging rights and a very competitive field for the team event as well. Chris, why don't you run down our top 10 teams here after the first round?
Oh, I'd be more than happy to, boss. And, of course, remember that they take the combined results, and that'll get you your overall champions tomorrow. That'll be announced. So let's go with our team results after today's slalom morning event. Castleton College in 10th, Rocky Mountain College in 9th, UMass Amherst in 8th place, and in the 7th place position, St. Olaf. In 6th place is Plymouth State. In 5th place, Brown. In the 4th position, Colby Sawyer, the Chargers. And here are your top 3 right now, your podium spots. In 3rd, the Eagles of Boston College. In 2nd place, Sierra Nevada. And who else but in 1st place, Westminster College. Remember, they're going to take whatever place you were in giant slalom and whatever place you will come in today in slalom, you combine them together, and of course the lowest scores are the best scores for the overall. So for example, Westminster right now, first in slalom, first in giant slalom, so they'll have a combined score of 2, and that'll be your overall first place right now. We'll see if that result holds in the afternoon, boss.
Make sure you join us right back here at the USCSA Radio Network. Coverage begins at 12:45. We will bring you live coverage of round number 2. Will Kendall Brown be able to hold on to it and win herself a national championship? Or will Danielle Shannon or Kristen Leggett or Maria Camelia Fraschini, Joanna Gillison, or Martina Ryberg, or some other name out of the back of the pack, as anything can happen? Who's going to win it? You'll have to come back and join us today at 1 p.m. to find out. That'll do it here from Barker Mountain at Sunday River, Maine. We'd like to thank Reliable Racing and Halti USA, our sponsors for today's broadcast. Make sure you check us out again at 1 o'clock this afternoon for the final round of the 2010 USCSA National Championship for the women's slalom. On behalf of Chris Aliano, this is Boss Hog saying so long, everybody.